Welcome back to Just Crafting Around. The next segment we are going to do is called Cookie Sheet Calendar. There are a lot of different things that you can do, different ways that you can do this. We'll demonstrate a few things here and then we will get into actually making it. Cookie sheets, there are different sizes of cookie sheets. Here I have a 10 by 15 and here I have an 11 by 17. You can see that they fit into each other. What I did was I chose to go with a little bit bigger one because I actually want a little bit bigger of a cookie sheet for the calendar itself. You can stay with this one, with the smaller cookie sheet, but you should kind of look to see like what sizes are going to fit on here and fit on here right and correctly. So what I did was I went with a little bit bigger cookie sheet, and then I started to walk around and decide and look at things that I wanted. I want kind of a little bit of the unusual. I just don't want to put the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s on there. I want unusual and a little bit different looking things. In my house is kind of a vintage. I do like antiques. I like older things. I like things that look distressed. So with the cookie sheet that I'm going to make, I am going to make one that suits my house. So I'm going to do it in kind of a distressed looking fashion. What I chose to do is I chose to do different shapes. I didn't want to use the same shape. So what I did was I walked into some craft stores. You can also go into your local lumber yards to see what they have. I decided to go with some circles, and the circles that I went with are actually in diameter. They're 1.5 by 1.5. I started putting those on the cookie sheet. There are actually 22 of them that come in a packet. I suggest if you want to go with all circles, at least go with more than the 22. Get at least 2 packs so that you have some on hand. I did make some mistakes. I did have to throw some of them, but also remember that you have holidays that you maybe want to do a special one. You have birthdays that you maybe want to do special ones for, and it's good to have just some extras on hand. Again, I didn't want to go with just the all circled ones. I wanted to go with some squares also. So what I did was they had 2 different sizes in the squares. This one here is 1 1/4 by 3/16. This one is 2 3/8 by 1 1/2 by 3/16. So I wanted to go with some squares, I wanted to go with some circles, and I wanted to have it look differently. What I also found to use where there's buttons. There's different sizes of buttons too. Of course, this is the larger button. You can also get smaller buttons. You can get just the plain wood, so you can decorate these as well. Another thing I found were some tags, and there's some different size tags as well. And these are wood. There's a little bit, there's a bigger tag, there's a different size tag, and these I got all in the same packet. Here's a little bit smaller one, and then here's more of a longer one. Now, I couldn't use this one and I couldn't use this one because they took up quite a bit of space. So these 2 I didn't use, but I figure I can use them for a different project. My next step was to take these and lay them all out. Make sure that they fit on the cookie sheet. So I took the circles. I took all the circles out, and then I took out some of the squares that I wanted to use, and I also took out some of these that I wanted to use, and I put them on the cookie sheet. Now remember, you're going to have 7 across, and you're going to have sometimes as many as 5 down this way. So you're going to have 7 across and 5 down. You want to leave a little bit of space on the side for your months. So what I did was I started putting them on the side, and I went 7 across. Of course, you want to space them out a little bit. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough space. So I went down this way with my 5 because eventually you're going to have the 5 down. And then what I did was I just kind of pieced a few of these in here and there along the way. Took out this one just to make sure that my spacing and stuff was going to be okay. Now remember, you also need to leave a little bit of room up on top here because you have to have your Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday up here. So just looking at this, I knew this was going to work for this cookie sheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these off. Put them back in our bag because we know that these are going to work. And we also know that these different shapes in the smaller ones are going to work. So we're going to put them to the side because we're going to use them. My next deal was to wander around and see what I wanted for the days of the week. So as I'm wandering around, I found Scrabble pieces in wood. So these are what I came up with that I wanted to use, was the Scrabble pieces. Again, I found these at Hobby Lobby and Joann's Fabrics. And again, you can go to your local lumber yard, you can just take some wood, you can have them cut it, and then you can put on your own Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, however you want to do it.
Valley Smart Solutions, we've got you covered. Why go out in the cold when you can check your cows from the comfort of your own home? Call Valley today at 437-2615 for your free customized quote.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
I knew I was going to be using a lot of magnet, so what I did was I bought the magnet that comes in a roll like this, and I purchased that. Then what I did was I decided, okay, Sunday I put this up here so that I could make sure that I could see everything, kind of spaced it out so that I can have my stuff spaced out far enough apart, and I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room to do this. So I put this up here. Now my next step was to look to see what I wanted to do. Did I want to paint everything? Did I want to distress it all and make it look all the same? Or did I want to use some scrapbooking paper? I elected to do both. I wanted to use a scrapbooking paper and incorporate that along with the different paints that I had. So what I did is I went back to Hobby Lobby or Joann's Fabrics and I picked up the Tim Holtz Ideology. I like a lot of his stuff because his stuff is vintage. So I liked his scrapbooking. You can pick up any kind of scrapbooking paper that you want. I suggest that when you pick it up and you pick up in here in this booklet, that you use this booklet, because what this does is it has the colors that kind of all blend together, plus it has the different shapes, different sizes, different things like that. It's all blended together in this book. So if you choose a book, stay with the book and use what's in here, which there are several of them that I did use from this book. What I also like about some of the scrapbooking paper is instead of the tall sheets that they give you like this, what he does is he breaks it down into even smaller sheets. So each sheet that is in here is a smaller little smidget, and he puts it all on one. So for these circles, they absolutely fit perfect, and I had to use just a small portion of this instead of using a big sheet and just taking out a small portion. So I did use a lot of these. So I decided on this. And like I said, it all depends on what you're looking to do. I also purchased a kid's one, and I thought this would be something that I'd want to do maybe like with my granddaughters. And here again, there's different pieces, different kinds. You can make this into any kind of a calendar that you wish. If you want to make it for a kid's calendar, you can make it a kid's calendar. There's all different kinds of things that you can do. This is some of the paper that was in this book that I thought would be fun for kids. I did pick up some burlap. This is all burlap. And this is scrapbooking paper, but it's all burlap and it's very heavy. I picked up another one. It's called Dots and Stripes. So this one has just all dots and all stripes in it. This one is glitter, basic glitter. So this one has a bunch of glitter on the different pages. And again, if you want it to be a glitter calendar, you can make it a glitter calendar. But once you purchase something like this, stay with this book. Now the first time I did this, I started off, and you can do this as well. You don't have to get the wood pieces. I elected to go with the wood pieces, but you don't have to do that. You can cut out 1 inch by 1 inch, and this is chipboard, and you can purchase this anywhere as well. You can cut out a 1 inch by 1 inch piece, and you can paint this, or you can take scrapbooking paper and you can paper over the top of it and put anything on it that you wish. You can do that as well. You don't have to get the wood or anything like that. It's just your preference, whatever you'd like to do.
Valley Telecommunications is pleased to announce that our Technology Solutions Center is fully stocked and open for business. We have a large selection to meet your wants and needs. Some of the items we currently carry are a variety of corded and cordless phones, different brands of tablets such as Kindle Fires and Apple iPads and all the accessories for them, Telekin computers, Epson and HP printers and ink cartridges, Apple iPods and accessories, office supplies, wireless keyboards and mice, cellular phones and accessories, different types of media storage, cameras, headphones, power strips and surge protectors, and much, much more. You can also get your very own Valley swag. Our prices are reasonable and comparable to any other retail store. If there is something that you want or need that we do not currently carry, please let us know so that we can check into it for you. We accept all major credit cards, cash or check. Please feel free to stop by our office and check out our new and improved store for all of your technology and day-to-day business needs.
Some of the items that you're going to need for your cookie sheet calendar is some paint, if you want to do any kind of painting. Here we've got some different colors of chalk paint. We also have some of these acrylic. I've used both of them with this calendar. The reason I like the chalk paint is the chalk paint dries really quickly, plus it accepts the stain very well when you want to distress. Also, here is some stain that we're going to be using, so that when we distress the wood that we're going to be making the calendar pieces with, we're going to be putting the stain over the top of it. The other items that you want to have on hand is, of course, your wax paper to protect your table. You're going to want to look for things with numbers. Some of the things that I found to use, again, the Tim Holtz, I use his Ideology stuff. I really like these. These here were just, has the alphabet on it. We're going to be using those. I found some of these dominoes that I thought would be useful. And I just found some different wood numbers along with some smaller numbers that are just plain have the circles on them. And I also found some bingo numbers that we're going to use. Here again were just some wood numbers and some numbers, some small miniature numbers. Just different things. Look for different things around the house. Some of the things that I also found were, we had some wire at home, and my husband actually made a 2 and a 3 out of the wire. So we're going to use that. What I did with this one right here is I painted it, and I painted it in what is called the sheepskin chalk paint. This already has kind of a distressed look and stuff like that on the side. So the only thing that I'm going to do with this one is I am going to hot glue the 2 and the 3 onto this one. And being it's a tag, I'm going to use a little bit of twine to put on here. So have your hot glue gun ready, have it plugged in, and as always, have a lot of coffee ready and on hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on, kind of eyeball it a little bit, see where I want it to go, and then we're going to put 2 small dabs of glue. We're going to put one here and one on the bottom. When you craft, a hot glue gun is your best friend, except when it burns your fingers. And that I have done quite a bit with this project. We're going to put it on. You've really only got so much time to let it stick once you've put it on. And now we're going to add our 3 to it. Also, when you're doing these, make sure that you can see the numbers really well. Don't have a dark background and have a dark number, because then you're not going to be able to see it very well. So it's preparation before you actually do this. Once you find what you want to use for your numbers and stuff, then find the colors that you want to use, as well as also look for the paper that you want to use and the background that you want to use for it, because you do want to see both. Okay. And once it's dried, I put quite a bit of hot glue on this, but once it's dried, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut some of the glue off. And we are going to get out a little bit of twine. And before we do that, we're going to take some of our magnet. We're going to cut a piece off. We're going to take off the place where it's sticky. I'm going to put that in the back and we're going to press down pretty hard on it. Now, we're going to take our twine. I always feel that I have to put twine or thread or something through these because it is a tag. So it needs to have something. And then I knot it one time. And I don't want this to be too long because you've only got about that much space in between. So you don't want it to be too long. So I'm going to cut it off right there. And then I'm just going to leave it hang. So now I have my number 23. That shows pretty good. And again, I've got quite a big blob of hot glue on here. But I'm going to take my X-Acto knife once it cools down, and we're going to get rid of some of that glue in there. Okay, now we're going to go on to the number 24. Okay, I chose these numbers. This came from an old sign, the number 2 and the 4. It came from an old sign that used to be around here that they used, and we are going to use that number. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I distress this. I'm going to go with a completely different color. We're going to go with this. This is called Cascade. It's kind of a color in between a green and a gray color. Shake that up, stir it, and then we are going to paint this. I paint the sides as well because I do want to distress it a little bit. So I'm going to paint the sides first. And one coat is plenty to use. I don't use more than one coat because, like I said, I do want to distress it. Now, if you're not distressing it, You may want to use 2 coats. It all depends on what you're looking to do. So now I'm going to paint the top. And like I said, the chalk paint is nice because the chalk paint does not take very long to dry. Okay, so now we're done with that. Doesn't have to be perfect because like I said, we are going to be staining it. We're going to be distressing it. So perfection we don't need to be looking for. Okay, so I'm just going to take that and put it over to the side here until it dries. And we're going to go on to our number 25. And the number 25, I'm going to be using this. Okay, it does come with some brads, and I do want those brads on there. So we're going to take 2 of them out of here. And what we're going to do is we're going to hot glue the braids on there. But first of all, what we're going to do is with this one, I want to use this right here. This is the scrapbooking paper that we're going to be using, and what we're going to do is we're going to take Mod Podge, and that's what we're going to use to glue it on to this tag right here that I've already chosen. Mod Podge does not take long to dry. So we're going to take a brush, we're going to load it. We're going to take and we are going to brush it on to our tag. Now as you can see, I like to mix it up. I don't want to have 2 tags together. I have 2 circles together because I don't want to use everything with the tag. So I have some circles together. So now I'm going to take this, get it as close to the edge as I can, and then just kind of rub on it a little bit because you want to get out all the bubbles from here. So what I'm doing is I'm just rubbing on the tag and rubbing out the bubbles. Okay, now we're going to take that and we're going to let that dry. So we have our number 24 waiting over here to dry, and we have our number 25 waiting to dry over here. We're going to move on while that stuff is drying, and we're going to go with the 26. With the 26, I decided that I wanted to take and use this pattern right here. What this is it has little snippets of a yardstick that's on here. So that's what we're going to use. I found these little beads that have the ABCs on them. And these little beads are what we're going to use that comes to say 26. So that's going to be what we're going to be using for our 26. Again, we're going to take our Mod Podge. We're going to take our circle because our circle is what we're going to be using here. Going to load it down with the Mod Podge. Then we're going to take our piece of paper, scrapbooking paper, we're going to put it over the top. We're going to turn it upside down. We're going to press it down really hard. And we're going to smooth it out. Make sure that we get all the air bubbles out of there.
Don't want to miss out on your favorite shows while you're gone? Get DVR service from Valley and never miss another show again. You can also watch your favorite shows on over 70 channels in our lineup in crystal clear high definition. Sign up for HD or DVR from Valley this month and receive 2 months free and free installation. Call us today at 437-2615. You don't want to miss out on this offer.
Okay, we are going to let 26 dry as well, so we're going to put them over here in the drying department. Now for number 27. I found these skinny, long numbers, and I really liked them. I like the light colored wood, plus I like the dark color that they used on the sides for the trim part. I decided to go with the burlap, and I decided to go with the burlap like this. I already made it, and this is what it looks like. It's got the burlap on there, it's the round circle, and of course we put our magnet in the back. And we will glue that together. Our 28 is next up, and what I used for the 28 is I made a 2 out of a chain link, and then I found 2 washers, one a little bit smaller and one a little bit bigger, and we are going to put them on top of each other. So that will be my number 28. 29, what we did with that one is chalk. This is actually a chalkboard, and what you can do is you can purchase the vinyl labels, the chalkboard vinyl labels. So that's what we did. I took out a square and I glued it on here, and then I trimmed it. After I was done trimming it, then I put the magnet in the back, and that is going to be our 29. Our number 30 is a bingo piece. And what we're going to do with that is scrapbooking paper. We're going to take that, and we're going to take the Mod Podge, and again we're going to use the circle, and we're going to paste it and glue it onto there. So again, we're going to take our Mod Podge, and we are going to do it pretty heavily here. We're going to take our piece of paper. If there's a certain something that you want on there, you want to line it up then for either to put it in the middle, maybe you want to put it a little bit higher because you want to put your number a little bit lower in the bottom. You can put it lower, you can put your number higher, it doesn't matter. Again, it's totally your preference. So I'm going to put this over the top. Again, I'm going to press it down, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to push out the air bubbles. And this will take care of number 30. I'm going to let this dry. When this dries, we will trim it. We will put on our number 30, and we will also add our magnet to that. Now for number 31. Number 31, we are going to paint. The paint color that I'm going to use for that is going to be called sheepskin. It's lighter than the Bavarian, but when I go to stress it, this here comes out pretty dark. This one here comes out a little bit lighter, and I want to use the lighter color because my number 31 number is a little bit darker. So I want to use a lighter color for this. Okay, and again, like before, we are going to take this, we're going to do the sides. And again, because we are distressing it, it does not have to be perfect because we're going to be sanding some of it off anyway. I'm going to paint up the sides, and then we're going to paint the top. Like I said, usually chalk paint does not take that long to dry. You can do everything within the same hour. Okay. Tune in for the next episode where we will complete our cookie sheet calendar project. See you next time.